You know, some years ago, I was talking to someone, and he asked me, "You don't believe in the Bible, right? I mean, you don't believe that that's true. The myths and parables and all that. I mean, you. This is what stood out. He said, "You don't believe that Jonah was in the belly of a whale now, do you? Smart girl like you. You don't think that, right?" And me being really young and not into God the way I should have been at the time, I didn't really have an answer for him. I mean, you don't really think a whale swallowed a man whole and he came out and lived, right? And then I just looked like, well, I have nothing to say because I that doesn't even sound right. Until years later, with life and experience, I learned what it's about. Jonah was a man that was favored and loved by God, but he had a life where there was a lot going on in his life, and there were some people in Nineveh who dwelt in unrighteousness and were making his life hard in a way by hurting him. So his compassion for them became sad. Because he didn't care about them anymore. He felt like, you know what? I care less about how they feel about anything. They hurt him in some kind of way. I think the backstory was that they hurt somebody in his family or something like that. And, they were going around and nothing was happening to him. But God gave a word to Jonah that they would be destroyed if they don't come to him. He didn't want to warn them. He didn't want to warn them. He felt like, oh, well, they deserve it, whatever it's coming from, because whatever they did to people, and that's their karma, I guess. So Jonah ran away from God's calling. He said, nah, I don't want to do it. I don't want to help them. Why should I? They hurt me. Have you ever felt that way? That somebody hurts you and whatever they get coming to them, it's on them. But God said, no, I would like for you to warn them and tell them of their wrongdoings. So he went on and left. He said, nah, I don't want to. He'd rather die than help them. And then God, he went on to go with his friends on a boat. And because he wouldn't obey God, that boat would shake. And it was like, oh no, it was basically telling everybody, if Jonah didn't get off that boat, he would have to, everybody would die on it, because he is on the boat and he's not doing what God told him to do. So God was chasing after Jonah because he was the only one who was going to be able to save the people of Nineveh. So he went on and was like, you know what? Okay. I see that this is not so good. And he was capsized. And then that whale swallowed him whole. And he had to be in the belly of a whale. And he had no food. He thought he was going to die. And he was in a bad position, but he was in that whale. So it just shows you the power of God. No. If he wants you to live through the hardest thing to get his message across, he will do it. It doesn't matter what you want to do. Now, you have free will. However, it's best to obey God so you'll have a smoother transition. Anyway, he's up in that well, can't eat. He can talk to no one but God. And God told him, hey, I'll release you, but you have to warn those people of Nineveh. So he knew it was a life and death thing. Even in his heart, he still didn't want to. But he eventually toiled and debated in his mind. And that was the whole thing of it. When you have something in the pit of your stomach that doesn't feel good and you don't want to do it, but God is urging you to do it and to save people and to be a witness of his goodness to these people, because they'll hear it from you. Be that person. So Jonah did go and meet those people, and he told them. And then they were eventually delivered. Long story short, they were delivered. Were they rebellious and everything? Yeah. Did they hurt him? Yeah. But he had to get to a place of forgiveness and obedience to the Lord. So that's when I really understood that it's doing those things that you don't want to do is the parable of what happened with Jonah and the whale. It's about being and hearing from the Lord to know that he wants what's best for you, but he also wants what's best for his people as well. He wants to save them. And that's his will, for everybody to be saved. And that nobody will be in the pits of hell. So you do what God asks you to do, and you won't be held accountable for anything. But if you don't obey him and you sit in unforgiveness and anger, then that's where you'll stay. So I hope that this helps someone out there. But let me know. Hit the like button, subscribe. I would like to talk more Bible stories, health and wellness, and everything. All right. Y'all be blessed. Bye.